Perfect. All right. Well, with that, I am going to hand things off to John Britt to do our first stakeholder introduction.
So who do we talk to? Why do we do this? So we do it to get to know others on the call, to build connections that lead to collaboration, to have fun, and to give me something that I really, really enjoy doing on the call that's pretty cool. So for this person, we asked, what do you like to do to relax or unwind? They like to bird watch and watch animal shows and go to the Estig Island and watch the horses. Um, so I actually was interested in what these horses look like. So I actually Google it. And those are some of the horses from that island. And the picture of the cardinal is one that I actually took in my backyard because I like to bird watch as well. Some interesting facts. This person's very first job was at a chicken plant packing frozen chicken boxes. I wasn't sure if this was exactly the right kind of chicken that they packaged, but it's what came to my mind. And we asked, what do you like best about your job? And their answer was the challenge and diversity of tasks that she or he needs to do. Also working with the EMS providers throughout the state and hopefully helping to make their life easier. How long? 25 years, going on 26 this year. So I didn't write it up here, but her answer actually said over her, half her life. But I don't ever. It is a I don't comment on women's ages, so I didn't put that in writing. Those were her words though. So any guesses? It's Michelle Jones from the Delaware office of EMS. Welcome, Michelle. Thank you for submitting um, information. And if you've not been introduced, I have someone introduced for the next one, but after that, my list is getting short. I'll add the link in the chat so that you can get on the list. And that's that. So I am not doing this live for a couple different reasons. First is that I can't redact information live, and I tried my best to make sure that no specific state's information was shown. And also, it never fails if you're doing this live. Like the internet connection will die, or I won't be able to log into Okta or something. But the thought is that going forward, every meeting or maybe every couple of meetings, we'll look at a dashboard just as a refresher of what's out there and what's available to you. I'm starting with probably arguably the most important dashboard for EMS data managers for the state. Um, so without any further ado, we'll get started with the V3 state data submission dashboard. And so, of course, just go to our home website and under View Reports, select State Reports, version 3 dashboards. So at that point, it's going to require you to log in using your Okta account. And any information that you see will be for your state only, even though when you see it on my video, it's for all states, which is why I could show it because it's not singling out any state. But for you, it'll be just your state's data. Let's go to the very bottom. You see that there's the companion guide, the training video, and then the dashboard itself. And I'm very good. Okay. So the first thing to look at is the actual email summary. This is the general summary of data from your state. This is showing all. So it'll your percentage of failed submissions, your active agencies, and your percentage of warnings. So I'm going to leave this tab and then I'll come back to it again at the end to show you something else. So again, that number there will show you how many total number of calls you as your state has submitted to date. And then the next tab I want to look at is called the submission detail tab, which is the second tab here. I don't know if you can see my pointer. So this shows a detailed information about the submissions that were received. But what I really want you to see is at the bottom, this tells you about your errors. And what I'm showing you here is that I don't know about everybody else's computer, but on my laptop and every other device I've used, for some reason it cuts off some digits from that column. So if you go to the very bottom, there's a slider, and you can use that to pull it over. There's the slider. All right. You can also, with that, whatever you have highlighted, if you go down to the bottom, the little thing that looks like a square with an arrow pointing down, that's where you can choose to download an Excel version, a PDF version, or a picture of the data that you have highlighted. I like to use crosstab and download it as an Excel version. So now we're looking at the agency detail. So this is where I had to redact some stuff. This tab tells you information about every agency that submitted PCRs within this time period. So for the nation, whatever that agency is, nationwide submitted the most calls during this time period. You'll see your state's agencies there. Really, one of the most important parts of this part of the dashboard is that EMS agency is missing a demographic file. So that's this one. Well, you will actually be able to see the number. I put a really crude redaction there so that you can't see the states because I'm not a professional video editor. But if you click on that, you can also download a crosstab from that bottom, and it'll give you a nice Excel spreadsheet of all of your missing DIM files. Next, we're going to the accepted PCR detail. This tab shows information about the ones that came through, the ones that were accepted, that were not, that didn't fail. And we're back to the email summary. And what I'm showing you here is how to, I'm going to go back 10 seconds. Here. So at the very bottom, there's a thing, you make me see it through that. Sorry, I hate that I'm pausing this, makes you not be able to see it, but there's a thing that says watch. Click on that, and then it'll include this view. You want an email summary, and then drop down to the when data refreshes and hit subscribe. And I encourage everyone to do this. And you'll see the created one subscription. And then every time this data updates, which is typically Monday mornings around 11 Eastern, so 9 or Mountain, you'll get an email showing you that view, which is what your percentage is of failures, active agencies, and the warnings. And we really hope and ask that you try to keep your failures less than 1%. It's nearly always failures are due to DIM file missing or changes. Every once in a while, there'll be an XML. But if you stay on top of that, you won't find yourself at like a 6% and getting an email from me saying, hey, you've got 15 DIM files that are missing. Can you help me? But that's the first dashboard we'll go over. Next time, we'll probably go over the data warehouse. I'm trying to keep these to about 5 to 6 minutes max. But if you have any other questions or further questions, please feel free to reach out to me or submit a help desk ticket, and we'll be happy to give you a little bit more information. And back to you, Ben.
All right. Thank you so much.
Great job, John. I just was going to reiterate that if anyone would like a tutorial, submit a help desk ticket. We're happy to set up a one-on-one call with you and help you set up a subscription or help you understand what you're looking at in those dashboards or the companion guides that go with them. So we're happy to do that one-on-one if it's something you're interested in learning more about. And I'll put a link to our help desk ticket in the chat to make it easy as well. All right, thanks. Back to you, Ben.
Thank you. We're gonna go to Josh for a little bit for some EMS data cube updates for V3.5.
Thanks, Ben. Good morning, everyone. Just a quick update on the NEMSIS v3 Cube, which you can browse on the NEMSIS website to look at all the data from the national database. That cube is being updated to reflect some of the changes in NEMSIS 3.5. We're capturing the most significant changes with this update, and then there's a few that'll come through a future update. As the cube is being updated, there's a period of time here where things are a little out of sync between the data model and the UI that the cube provides. So at the moment, if you try using the cube, you'll notice three areas, three dimensions that are not working correctly right now. And these are the three areas that are affected by the update for NEMSIS 3.5. So one of those is incident/patient disposition. If you look in the cube as of right now, you'll see that it's not recorded on all calls, on all records. So that's undergoing updates. That will be replaced by, so that will go away and be replaced by the new disposition elements for unit disposition, patient evaluation/care, crew disposition, and transport disposition. The second one that's not working this morning or right now is level of care of this unit. That one is being switched over to level of care provided per protocol from NEMSIS 3.5. And then the third one that's not working is complaint reported by dispatch. That one's just simply being renamed to dispatch reason, but at the moment it's not working as things get synced up on that renaming. These changes should finally kind of settle in the next few days, and the cube should be fully functional again with these three areas. And when it is, it'll have NEMSIS 3.5 data. It'll show you the data from a NEMSIS 3.5 viewpoint, and it will be translating non-NEMSIS 3.5 data in a couple of areas. So one will be the disposition elements. Any pre-3.5 data, the data will be translated to the new 3.5 disposition elements. And then level of care of this unit will be translated to level of care provided per protocol. Those translations are being done according to the specs in the NEMSIS 3.4 to 3.5 translation that's published by NEMSIS. The purpose behind doing those translations is to make the cube continue to be easy to use. So if you're browsing data across NEMSIS versions, you're going to get something reasonable to work with instead of having to put together a very complicated query that somehow gets the data you want from 3.4 plus the data you want from 3.5. So those changes should be settled, like I say, in the next few days. Once they are, probably on the next V3 call, we'll go ahead and demo those areas that changed. Are there any questions for me? Okay, great. Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, thank you, Josh. I think next on the agenda is Monet to talk about some Okta password information.
Thank you, Josh. Oh, sorry, my apologies. Thank you, Benjamin. I would like to share my screen.
Okay, should be able to now.
Okay, thank you so much. Greetings, everyone. Thank you for being on the call today. I just want to inform you about an important update to our Okta password and protection policy, security policy. This change is part of an ongoing effort to enhance our security systems and protect the sensitive information that we hold for the state. So effective April 23rd, we adjusted the password expiration from 90 days to 60 days. What you need to know is that you will be required to update your password every 60 days. If your password is currently older than 60 days, we would ask that you currently go ahead and use the self-service portal to update your password. And if you have any saved passwords in your applications, browsers, or devices, please go ahead and update that as well. If you encounter any problems, please submit a ticket to the help desk. The ticket can be found on any page of the NEMSIS website. It's typically in the footer section. It looks like this big red button that I have here on the presentation slide. And we just want to thank you again for your cooperation to help us maintain a secure environment for our organization. Your commitment to the security is greatly appreciated. And I would like to ask if there are any questions at this time. Okay, I am sure there will be some questions, so please feel free to submit those through the help desk and we'll get to those as soon as possible. I recognize that several tickets have come in so far, and so I'll get to those as soon as possible. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.
Great. Thanks, Monet. Yeah, please feel free to type in the chat box if you have any questions, or raise your hand and we'll be able to unmute you. I think next on the agenda is actually me, and I am, there we go, to talk about the 2023 research data sets. So this is pretty exciting. They should be produced here any moment now. We're finalizing some of the supporting documentation that go with them, but the data sets have been finalized. I have some of the numbers from the actual data set. So for the year, we have just over 54 million EMS activations, which is the most that we've ever produced. And then the data comes from just over 14,000. It's 14,369 agencies from 54 states and territories. And the total data set, depending on the format, is 144 to 160 gigabytes of research data. So that's pretty exciting. We're getting really close to a census of data as opposed to a research sample. So kind of interesting because very few healthcare data sets are true censuses. And so that's really exciting. So please stay tuned. We'll announce it publicly here very, very shortly as soon as they're ready to go out. And then to request the data sets, just open a support ticket on the website. There's a field for request research data set. You'll fill out a short form. Those will get reviewed and approved. And then we will send a link to download the data set. So some of you probably remember the days back when it was CDs, and then after that USB drives. The data is now available just as a link to download those files. Happy to answer any questions about research data that you may have. And yeah, if you think of anything else once they are produced or would like them, please feel free to reach out. And with that, I will actually hand it off to Chris to talk about annual report. And I'm keeping an eye on the chat if anyone would like to if anybody types any questions in or raises their hand.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. That's exciting information. It's hard to wrap your head around exactly how many activations that is. So really exciting to see that come out. To dovetail on your information, that also means that in short order, the 2023 NEMSIS annual data report will be coming out and be published shortly. Hopefully within the next 3 weeks is the goal here. The earliest we've ever produced this report. The 2023 NEMSIS annual national data report is 15 pages of tables, charts, and other visualizations of the data that was gathered by NEMSIS in 2023. For example, you have charts on the top 20 medications, top 20 causes of injury, patient and crew dispositions, et cetera, et cetera. And in this edition, we are going to be highlighting the National Drug Overdose dashboard and the heat-related injury dashboard. So very excited to have this out. And as a matter of fact, as soon as I'm done here, I will throw into the chat the link so that you can see our previous national EMS data reports, and you can see what sort of data you're in store for. And so that's just a preview. We'll have, when it's actually released, we will get everybody a link and a copy from here. But yeah, if there's any questions on that, let me know. Other than that, I'll just hand it back over to Ben.
All right. Thanks, Chris. And I think next up is going to be Jen with a 351 status update. And We'll just double check. I think Jen was having some technical issues. We may need to come back to her in just a second. Chris, would you make Jen a co-host real quick? Okay, try now, Jen.
Hello. Okay, sorry about that, guys. And luckily, it's a short but sweet moment with Jen today on the V3 call. So for your V351 update, just letting everyone know that one of the tickets has been removed from version 351 that everyone voted on. This was NEMPUB 698. This was the one where we wanted to move the text from the extended data dictionary over to the NEMSIS data dictionary so that it's kind of a one-stop shop in those elements that are included in the NESMSO extended data dictionary. That has a lot of development repercussions that once they dug into it became more apparent. So that is not gone. It's just moved to the next version. It will not be in version 351. And that really is just because it became much more of a closer to a major change than a minor change. The other item that we've been talking about that we've been asked about is a timeline for version 351. Our IT team is in the process of working on some sprints to develop that timeline so that it is better informed and more precise. And as soon as they're able to provide that to us, we will provide that to you. We are looking forward to being able to do that with you. Are there any questions or anything like that on the V351 status? All right, Ben, back to you. Short and sweet today.
All right. And again, if you have any questions at any time, please feel free to type them in the chat or raise your hand and we'll take you off mute. I think next up is an update on the 10-year project plan from Clay. And yep, perfect. All right.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Jen, for that quick update on 3.5. So just one of the conversations we had two meetings ago was in regards to where we have the information regarding the changes to 3.5. So I'm just going to highlight some modifications that we made to what was called the timeline before and changed the title to be more kind of illustrative of the purpose of that document. So I'll just, from the NEMSIS website, all the information regarding NEMSIS 3.5.1 will still be found here under the 3.5 revision tab. Choose the lowest box here. It will bring you to the timelines that will be placed here. Right now, we have a timeline that's just associated with the process of deciding on what would be included in version 3.5.1 and getting it to the developers. So that is a timeline that is basically passed. Right here will be where we'll replace that with the actual timeline once we have kind of firmed up milestones that will be helpful for the vendors and states to plan for that change. This is the visualization. We've changed the word timeline to have this read EMS data standard versioning 10-year project plan. So this is more illustrative of the purpose of this. It's really, its purpose is to show the relationship between minor and major revisions for NEMSIS that are planned over the next 10 years. So it includes language that indicates that this shouldn't be construed as a set schedule. And as Jen mentioned, as soon as we have the scheduling timeline, the timeline for actual release of 3.5.1 released or ready, we'll post that to the website. So those changes were made hopefully for your stakeholders. This will be less confusing to them and you'll get less questions regarding the purpose of this chart. Any questions related to those changes? Okay, thank you, Ben.
All right. If anyone has any questions, again, please raise your hand. We're happy to take you off mute. And while I keep an eye on the chat box, Josh, I think we're going to head back over to you for some EMS interoperability information.
Okay, thanks, Ben. Go ahead and share my screen. Okay. Just a quick update on the EMS Interoperability Task Force today. This task force began meeting in February of last year, and you can see on the screen here all of the topics that the Interoperability Task Force has covered through monthly meetings throughout the past year plus. We're getting near the end of that topic list. We will cover the last topic that we haven't addressed yet on the call the second Thursday of May, which will be May 9th. That call is from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Mountain Time and uses the same link as the call that you're on right now. So that particular topic will be just discussing the information that's important for EMS professionals to receive when they're on the scene of a call or responding to the scene of a call to treat a patient. So patient medical history type things. So we'll have that discussion and document the results of that discussion on the May call. We've tossed around the idea of having one more call in June that would be kind of a wrap-up call for the task force. Now, just because we've gone through all of these topics doesn't mean that we've finished all the work. What it means really is that we've done enough with the task force to identify all the work that needs to be done to address EMS interoperability. So we're going to continue doing a whole bunch of work, and it's going to take another several years, I think, to get this work done to improve EMS interoperability. But the task force really allowed us to collect the input needed to understand what work needs to be done over the next few years. So that's the task force. Anyone who has not joined us in the past is welcome to join us on the May 9th call, and we'll keep you updated on what we decide to do for a potential wrap-up call in June. And I will put a link to the interoperability page of the NEMSIS website in the chat. Give me a second to do that. I really recommend checking out this interoperability page to kind of get up to speed on what we're doing with interoperability. In particular, you'll see a link on that page to a wiki site. And after every task force call every month, I go to that wiki site and I add some content. And so that wiki site is becoming kind of the place that documents all of the findings of the task force. And it's a great place to go where you could get kind of a 15 or 20 minute read to get a good comprehensive overview of the topics and issues with EMS interoperability. All right, so that's it for the update. Any questions? Okay, thanks everyone.
All right, thanks, Josh. And then I think next on the agenda are items from NHTSA's Office of EMS. I'm not sure. I think Jeremy and Eric may have had a conflict. I do not see them here, so we will see if they have anything else.
Yeah, Ben, they're both traveling right, kind of as we speak. So
okay, I had a feeling. And then next is just to highlight upcoming public training on May 7th from noon to 1 Eastern, navigating grant funding opportunities for EMS stakeholders. That'll be hosted by our very own Casey, Gregor, and Lauri. And we hope to see you all there. Those will also be recorded and posted on our YouTube page as well if you're not able to make the time frame, but certainly welcome some participation. So with that, we head into open forum. I'm happy to keep an eye on the chat as well as see if anyone raises their hands or take anyone off mute if they would like to discuss anything we've talked about today.
This is a quiet bunch today.
And a boring meeting, but there's nothing wrong with boring, you guys. Means there's nothing major, concerning happening. So that's a good thing.
I like it. No news is good news. That's a good note right there.
Jay asks about a copy of slides from the dashboard presentation, Jay.
Sorry, it helps to unmute when I talk. So it's not slides, it's just a video, but I can put it in Publisher and send it, or I mean, PowerPoint. The reason why I didn't do it is because it's hard to pause things in PowerPoint. It likes to go to the next slide when you push a button. But yeah, I can send that video out, no problem at all. I can send it to you directly, Jay, or
yeah, directly to Jay would be good,
okay.
John.
I don't know a way to post it so everybody can get it, but if there's a big need, submit a help desk ticket if you want it, and I'll get it to you, and we'll figure out a way to get it out. If you're not Jay, you don't have to submit one, Jay. I know you.
And then also we have our next upcoming meetings are May 8th, May 22nd, and June 12th. Same time and place. And then looks like there's a question about scope of 351 items that are included in this release. Jen, I don't know if that's a question best for you.
Once we have everything done and IT has put the bow on them and they will be included, we will provide more information. In the meantime, you are welcome to go to the NEMPUB site and you can review the items that have been selected for development. I'll put the link for that into the chat here really quick so that everyone has that. This is the public facing availability for version changes. This is where those tickets are all contained. And there are directions on the NEMSIS website if you need to download this into Word, PDF, Excel, so that you have it and can take a look and manipulate it, the data. I will also put in a quick directions on how to do that as well. Let me grab those. And that right now, that's your resource. And then once we have everything buttoned up, we'll get more out to you.
Yeah, and that's great description. Yeah, Jen, I think what we'll try to do is perhaps maybe a PowerPoint that highlights what changes are being made, right, in kind of layman's terms, so that can be distributed among your stakeholders within your state, and then perhaps a document too that kind of highlights it. So we'll get some good materials out as soon as we have kind of that bow that Jen was talking about.
I will pause there. We're happy to take any other questions if anyone has anything else. Otherwise, I think we are at the end of the agenda. That was a pretty quick one. Going once, going twice. All right. Please reach out if there's anything else we can help you with, or you have any other questions. Otherwise, we will see you at the next one on May 8th. Thank you all very much.